So every garment has something called a life cycle. It's what we use to understand what happens at each stage of a garment's life. And it's a kind of like a maths approach to assessing how much impact a garment has. So basically everything has an impact on the planet. Everything has an impact. No matter how sustainable or secondhand or whatever you're doing with fashion, everything has an impact. But some things are more impactful than others. And it's been our job to really think about how to make that better, where the best gains are, and how to make the best garments possible. And circularity gives us a chance to reuse the materials, but also to improve lots of other things around this life cycle. So we have a supply chain behind a garment. So we have impacts and considerations that happen when we're taking the raw materials and making a fibre. So whether or not we're taking cotton out the field, we're making a polyester from actually the waste of the petroleum industry, or we're taking wool from a sheep. They've all got to be cleaned up and spun and processed. So there are impacts there. And then of course we're going to make a cloth, and then we're going to shipping all the time between these areas. And then we're going to take that cloth and we're going to do something to it. We're going to colour it, we're going to print it, we're going to put a finish on it. And then we're going to cut it, make a garment, get it to store, sell it. And then of course there are all these other impacts in the use phase. And we've got to think about how are people washing it, how are they caring for it, how long are they likely to keep it? Can we encourage them and help them keep it for longer so that they're not tiring of things too quickly or feeling that things look too tatty too quickly? Maybe repair is a really important part of our wardrobes as we move ahead. Maybe we really need to wear and mend like a badge of honour. After we are eventually tired of the product, we might try to sell it or swap it or lend it or give it to someone, or we might give it to a charity, or we might drop it into the clothes bank on the street. All of those actions and decisions have another set of impacts. All of those routes forward have different considerations, different benefits, and different challenges. When did you last drop off clothing to a charity shop? Did you do it at night when the shop was closed? That means that the charity will probably get fined for fly tipping. I mean, there are so many things to think about, but we have been really looking at every single stage of a product and understanding how it could be better. And by framing it as circular fashion, how we could be capturing all of this waste and feeding it back into the fashion industry, into the material cycles. So circular fashion is going to be about thinking of things as loops, trying to capture every moment in that cycle and understand it, improve it as much as you can, and then encourage the behaviours that will enable people to repair, to look after their clothes, to buy more carefully at the outset, and then give it to the right place. Send it to the right place where you know it's going to go forward and have a positive life. The last thing you should do is put things in the dustbin. So yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot to think about, but as soon as you start seeing it mapped out in these cycles, you'll really begin to understand what goes into a garment and what else we could be doing with garments.